Hello and welcome to Soft Spoken Storytime, episode 75. I'm Cozy Kitten, ASMR, and this is SCP-061, Auditory Mind Control. Item number SCP-061, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. The source code for SCP-061 is to be kept on a standard archival quality read-only data compact disc, CD-ROM. 4 copies of the CD-ROM with the source code are to be stored in separate maximum security inanimate object lockers. Except for purposes of approved experimentation, SCP-061 is not to be loaded, compiled, or run. Research proposals for SCP-061 require written approval from Site Command. Only one copy of the CD-ROM containing the source code for SCP-061 may be used at a time. The CD-ROM is to be returned to storage for immediately after having been used to load the source code for SCP-061 to a device. SCP-061 must never be loaded, compiled, or run on any device which has a connection to the Internet, either directly or via another source. SCP-061 must never be loaded, compiled, or run on any device which is physically capable of wireless connectivity, regardless of whether that connectivity is in use. For purposes of approved experimentation, SCP-061 may be loaded, compiled, and run on a LAN consisting of no more than 3 devices plus peripherals. No devices are to be disconnected from the LAN during experimentation. Following the conclusion of experimentation, all devices within this LAN are to be immediately reformatted. Audio output peripherals for this LAN are to be contained within an observation chamber surrounded with noise-canceling vacuum insulation. In the event of a perimeter breach by hostiles during SCP-061 experimentation, all devices within the LAN are to be immediately destroyed. Description: SCP-061 is an acoustic computer program being developed by SCP researchers with the intent of producing successful countermeasures to similar programs being developed by governments and individuals around the world. Inspired by research on data expunged, SCP Command saw both the potential and harm in the ability to control the brain functions of other human beings. Laymen understand that music can elicit certain emotions and memories, or various sounds can elicit fear and excitement by simply being heard. Governments around the world have been attempting to expand on that premise for decades. SCP research is the first to elicit responses on higher mental activities. Parts of the brain affected by SCP-061 differ from those stimulated by data expunged or by subliminal messaging. Instead of acting on the parts of the brain that are thought to be in control of the subconscious, acoustic frequencies produced by SCP-061 intercept conscious thoughts as they are produced and replace them. Instead of a suggestion, the human hearing center bisects the conscious thinking mind of the frontal lobe with the motor control cortical homunculus of the brain. A baseline rhythm convinces the rest of the brain that the conscious mind is asleep and effectively stops conscious thought from continuing to the rest of the brain. In return, the frontal lobe experiences a pause that resembles the psychological effects of amnesia. Acoustic codes developed by SCP-061 are interpreted by motor centers in the brain as conscious instructions, and the subject typically acts accordingly. See Addendum 01. Subjects will normally have a blank facial expression while under the influence of SCP-061. They are not responsive to attempts at communication and express no desires, such as hunger or interest in sexual advances. Though all commands are followed without question, the effects of the auditory control cease once the subject is no longer able to hear the program. Most test subjects report being unable to remember the actions they performed while under control, but a few have experienced the effect of watching helplessly as their body acted against their will. The intent of such research is to discover ways to counteract the effects of auditory mind control. However, only 2 methods of countermeasures have proven successful as of yet. 1. The subject's hearing is impaired so that the individual can no longer hear the program, either by covering the ear or deafening the subject. 2. The program itself sends a coded instruction to the hearing center of the brain, permanently shutting it down. Though the ear continues to hear, there has been no progress in finding the proper code to reboot the hearing center of the brain. Despite its shortcomings, SCP-061 represents a promising development in the creation of counter-anomalous phenomenon. Further research is ongoing. Addendum 01. All subjects are placed under auditory control, issued a coded auditory command, and then monitored. Subject 4402F. Command: sleep. Response: subject curled up into a fetal position on the floor, and her brain began emitting alpha waves associated with sleep. Her eyes remained wide open in the typical blank/empty expression associated with controlled subjects, but her eyes twitched rapidly in the ways associated with REM sleep. Subject 4427M. Command: run on treadmill. Response: Subject mounted treadmill and then proceeded to run. Subject did not turn on the treadmill, resulting in the subject impacting the control platform. Subject repeated this until the stop command was issued. Note: more detailed commands are advised for task-oriented commands. Subject: 4427M. Command: turn treadmill on. Run on treadmill. Response: subject turned on treadmill to the maximum speed, mounted, and attempted to run before being ejected off the conveyor belt. Subject repeatedly attempted to turn on the treadmill to a random speed and run on it, with various outcomes. Note: more detailed commands are advised for task-oriented commands. Subject 4427M. Command: turn on treadmill to jogging speed. Jog on treadmill. Response: subject successfully jogged on treadmill until stop command was issued, which resulted in subject being ejected off the conveyor belt. Note: subjects should be in a safe neutral position before stop commands are issued. SCP-062 Quantum Computer. Item number SCP-062. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-062 is stored in a dedicated containment cell at Site Redacted, under clean room conditions. Any experimentation on SCP-062 must receive prior permission from at least 2 Level 3 personnel and must only be performed with independent power sources. SCP-062 must never be attached to an external network, and all data extracted from SCP-062 is to be stored on external, non-volatile media until analyzed. Description: SCP-062 appears to be an unbranded personal desktop computer housed in an aluminum case of indeterminate manufacture. SCP-062 is unusually heavy at approximately 24 kilograms and lacks manufacturing or branding labels of any kind. The words "Information is freedom" were found scratched into the casing near the back, apparently with a key or similar object. Inspection of its interior have revealed that SCP-062 is empty except for a blank circuit board in place of where the motherboard of a standard personal computer would be. SCP-062 will not function unless the case is completely sealed, and attempts to open the case while it is operating cause it to shut down immediately. Despite this, SCP-062 operates as expected for a normal desktop computer, with the exception that its performance, operating system, contained data, and language appears to be different upon every activation. SCP-062 was discovered in the basement of the University of Redacted Computer Science Laboratory by Redacted. An embedded Foundation agent seized the object and brought it to Site Redacted, where it has since been contained. Addendum 062-001 List of notable activation results. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appeared to be running Windows XP in Catalan. Analysis of contained data showed financial records for the redacted banking firm in France for the period of May 1963 to April 1987. These records are inconsistent with actual bank records produced by undercover Foundation agents. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appears to be running Debian Linux in Latin. Contained data consisted of a library of audio recordings of over redacted choral songs and hymns, of which redacted are not found in any known collection or have never been performed. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appeared to be running a version of Solaris in Portuguese. Contained data consisted of promotional and marketing material for Redacted, which appears to be a commercial space flight corporation that does not exist. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appeared to be running an unknown operating system visually similar to OS/2 with an unknown language later identified to have strong similarities to that of the Voynich manuscript. Attempts at deciphering the contained data are ongoing. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appeared to be running Redacted in French. Contained data confirmed to be that of a standard Foundation workstation, though the site indicated by its location data, site redacted, does not exist. Investigation is ongoing. Date redacted. Description: SCP-062 appeared to be running Apple OS X in what appears to be Akkadian cuneiform script. Contained data appears to be composed mainly of religious text and descriptions of ritual and ceremonial procedures. Date redacted. Description: redacted. Investigation is ongoing as to how the virus managed to compromise 3 workstations and 1 file server before SCP-062 was forcibly shut down. All affected workstations have been isolated. Item number SCP-063. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-063 is to be kept at all times within Dr. Redacted's personal bathroom, located within the personnel quarters, upon Site-19. Object is to be used as designed at least once in a 24-hour period, or the object will begin to emit an unknown specialized radiation that results in objects and material within a 0.6 meter, 2 feet, radius being slowly warped and eventually disintegrating into a fine dust. radiation's effect on living test subjects has not been monitored. Description: SCP-063 appears to be an average pale blue toothbrush. Stenciled along the side of the object are the words, "The world's best Tothbrush." The word toothbrush is spelled incorrectly, though whether this was accidental or a purposeful action by the creators of the object is unknown. SCP-063 displays the ability to effortlessly cleave through any and all dead or inorganic matter, the focal point of this ability being the bristles. However, matter touched by the bristles is not separated, such as by way of knife, but completely expunged from existence, leaving no trace whatsoever. This mode of operation is reminiscent of SCP-2207, suggesting the two anomalies share a connection, or were created by the same entity or entities. Additionally, subjects who have used SCP-063 have claimed that the experience left their teeth feeling remarkably clean. In spite of its extraordinary abilities, lab analysis has discerned that SCP-063 is completely made of common plastic. Addendum: SCP-063 was originally found in St. Petersburg on the person of redacted. A thief working in the area using SCP-063's abilities to crack safes. When questioned about the object, subject professed ignorance, claiming that he simply found the object one day. Questioning of the subject continued until he took his own life. His reason for doing this is, as of yet, unknown.